This is a turnkey place. They were super helpful when it came to the permits. Everything was already in place. They customized the kitchen to the way we needed it, with the equipment that we wanted. There's people here around the clock, so I can actually have receiving.
The biggest space has been allotted to LA Kitchen, an enterprise that is helping the community in all realms.
It's the first of a kind social enterprise in America that takes food that would have been thrown away. And we're focusing a lot on fruits and vegetables that are cosmetically imperfect. But we use those to fuel a job training program so that younger men and women aging out of foster care or older men and women returning from prison can get the skills they need to get great jobs. But what's really important is what we're also trying to do is make sure those men and women prepare meals that go out to nonprofit partners throughout the city.
The 15-week training program teaches students to prepare healthy meals.
Our goal is that we want to get 100% of our graduates working, hopefully on graduation day. But the exciting thing about us is we have a business too, so we'll become a major employer ourselves.
A business model that creates recipes for success for the entire community. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
For more information, you can visit laprep.la. Well, with the holiday season here, shoppers in Canoga Park are urged to take extra precautions to protect their gifts and other valuables. Gil Reyes has more from Westfield Topanga Plaza Mall. Gil.
Well, that is right, Yana. 'Tis the season for gift giving, but also the season for thieves. Last year, the LAPD Topanga Division reported more than 80 incidents of car thefts and burglaries just in this area, but there are things you can do to protect yourself. And just that quick, he's gone like a ghost. The ghost of Christmas present, your presents, because you carelessly left them in your car and in plain sight.
I think people have to be very careful.
The LAPD's Topanga Division getting the word out with these demonstrations, showing how quickly thieves can work. This warning is issued to shoppers at the Village Westfield Topanga Plaza. Last year, between Black Friday and New Year's, police say 82 thefts and burglaries from vehicles took place at the mall's parking lot and surrounding areas.
It's an unfortunate reality of the holiday season. It's something that happens all year round, but particularly in the holiday season.
Canoga Park's Councilman Bob Blumenfield urging people to lock it, hide it, and keep it, a crime-fighting slogan that reminds shoppers to always lock their vehicles, even if they're gone a short time. Park in well-lit areas, and hide gifts and other valuables in the trunk if they must remain in the car. Keeping them in plain view might entice thieves.
You will see a very large uniform presence here in all of our shopping areas. Our goal is to keep it safe.
Undercover officers will be patrolling too. Authorities are also urging people to be vigilant in reporting suspicious activity.
And just be more aware of your surroundings.
And those warnings come as the city experiences an overall spike in property crime. Yana?
Gil, thanks. Angelinos working and living in downtown LA now have a new hotspot for food and groceries. A long-awaited health store has made its way to the business hub. Rasha Goel has more.
Whole Foods Market is finally in downtown Los Angeles. The new store, featuring its own restaurant and bar, is a big improvement in terms of grocery operations in the downtown area.
We've been looking for a good 15 years. When this became available, it was a no-brainer. We feel really lucky to be on 8th and Grand, and it's a great location for us.
In an area where healthy alternatives were limited, customers now have an option.
We really feel that we want to reach out to the offices and the community here. We're going to give access to the best food available to downtown. We feel it's a great fit for us. It's a great fit for the community.
It's also a great fit for vendors like Roy Choi, creator of the gourmet Korean taco truck, Kogi.
Now Scoop and Serve have found a way to keep the quality, improve the ingredients, and then click in the process.
Or for the Bordersons, who supply dragon fruit to the store.
Whole Foods is very picky with its growers, so they look at everything and they review everything, so it's an honor to be able to be part of the Whole Foods family.
We're an organic market, and so, I think that the uniqueness comes in that we offer something for everybody.
And something else everyone can smile about is the available parking spaces. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And they'll also be selling vinyl records. Well, the LAPD is now in an expansion phase, launching a new police academy training class almost every month. Anna Marcos takes us to the latest graduation and what makes this class so special.
These fresh recruits graduate the LAPD Academy at a difficult time for both police and the communities they patrol, a time when tensions often erupt into violence. But the rookies believe they can make a difference.
It's important for us not to get caught up in everything that's happening right now within the community. It's important for us to just remain true to our morals and our values and the way that we were brought up, and just remember why we started.
I was former military, Marine, and I wanted to make a difference on a large scale. Now I wanted to be a police officer because I still want to be able to make a difference, but at a local level.
And the new cops are well equipped to make that difference. Asia Hardy was voted class president for her leadership. Stephen Geiger has clinched the award for being top gun and the best evasive driver in the class. And Eric Anderson got the award for best self-defense maneuvers.
It's very time-consuming, late nights, early mornings, but at the end of the day, it's worth it.
One thing the LAPD brass are proud of, this class is so diverse, it mirrors the ethnic makeup of LA. The ratio of women does fall a little bit behind. There's 4 women out of this class of 32.
The makeup of African Americans, Asians, Caucasians, Middle Easterns, Hispanics, it is a great makeup and it's well balanced.
They will have to deal with events that nobody should have to deal with. As representatives of the people of Los Angeles, they will go into places that nobody should have to go.
Mayor Eric Garcetti asked the recruits to never forget the details.
And in every inspection I've done, there's usually at least one button unbuttoned or something that's off. This is the first inspection I haven't been able to find a single thing. Details can keep you alive in the field. Details can save your life.
Of course I'm very fearful, but I'm also proud of him, and so it's a combination of pride and fear, yes.
Today, it seems, the pride the families feel far outweighs the fear as they watch their recruits throw their hats up in the air, and with that, become full-fledged officers, ready for deployment on the streets of L.A. I'm Anna Marcos for L.A. This Week.
The recruits receive 6 months of intense training. Well, after 65 years, Panorama City finally has a new home for the Los Angeles Fire Department. Rich Samuels has more.
It seems that everyone was celebrating the grand opening of Fire Station Number 7 in Panorama City. Members of the community came together along with city officials and Los Angeles City firefighters for a day-long festival.
We have this beautiful building, really a reflection of this amazing community that I call my district.
Serving the communities of Panorama City, Arleta, Pacoima, Mission Hills, and North Hills, the 16,000 square foot facility is more than 7 times larger than the 1950 station it replaces.
I think the credo of LAFD is notably apt today, and it is dedicated to saving lives, fighting fires, safety and prevention, and building communities.
Diane Hand used to live behind Fire Station 7, back when it was based in the old building nicknamed the Little House.
They're adorable. They've adopted me as their station mom, and I try to do everything to make them aware that their community loves them and thanks them for everything that they do. They deserve something nicer, bigger, more comfortable, and it's just, it's needed.
The $8.8 million station was made possible because of cost savings during the construction of fire and animal facilities under Proposition F, a bond passed in 2000. The new station now houses an engine and paramedic ambulance with room for 2 hook and ladder trucks. It's a new beginning for Fire Station 7. This is Rich Samuels for LA This Week.
This is the 6th station to be designated Fire Station 7 since the first one opened downtown in 1888. While a new annual tradition sails into the Port of LA, a new crosswalk in the heart of Hollywood boosts visitor safety, and parking just got a bit easier in Westwood. All these stories and more in City Beat.
The
Port of Los Angeles will begin hosting LA Fleet Week, in which active military ships will be on public display during next year's Labor Day holiday, city leaders announced. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti, who's a Navy Reserve officer, said the event will be a great annual tradition for Angelinos to visit the LA waterfront, tour ships, enjoy a variety of activities, and gain a deeper appreciation of our enlisted men and women. A new scramble crosswalk was recently installed at the heavily traveled intersection of Hollywood and Highland, allowing pedestrians to cross from all corners in every direction, including diagonally and simultaneously. Previously, the highly congested corner in the heart of Hollywood overflowed with pedestrians moving outside the crosswalks and sometimes in between cars trying to make turns. City Councilman Mitch O'Farrell, who spearheaded the transformation, said it will improve safety for the thousands of pedestrians who cross there each day.
It's a psychological boost. People feel safer. And you can feel it when I've crossed there. It feels a bit joyful, really.
O'Farrell also joined other local and federal officials for a ribbon cutting and a walk along Sunset Boulevard in Echo Park to mark the completion of a streetscape improvement project that repaired broken sidewalks and curbs, planted more than 100 new trees, and saw the installation of several solar-powered Big Belly trash receptacles. The pedestrian improvement project, which was mostly paid for by a federal grant, is geared toward enhancing the look and feel of the neighborhood while making the area more inviting for pedestrians.
We encourage people to spend some time here and have a quality experience.
Mayor Garcetti and other LA City officials launched Westwood Express Park, the first expansion of LA Department of Transportation's real-time parking management and information system outside of downtown LA. The system uses in-ground sensors to determine when and where parking spots are available and adjusts prices according to supply and demand. Mayor Eric Garcetti says one of the goals is to reduce traffic congestion.
These sensors, LADOT can now track also the usage of the city's metered on-street parking and use that information to help us set the best parking rates, save us money again when things are low, and to make sure we get the turnover we need when there's high demand.
It was a rare treat. A lineup of world-class musicians, singers, and dancers put on a show recently for a great cause, and it was free. Rich Samuels has more.
Drums and drummers are part of cultures the world over, and every year they're celebrated here at the 34th annual Watts Towers Day of the Drum Festival.
And it's in Watts, a place that everybody forgets unless there's a shooting or something negative. But we've been doing museum and art education for 54 years.
The Watts Towers Arts Center, built in the shadow of the iconic Watts Towers, shares the landmark's worldwide reputation.
Simon Redier was a regular man. He built these towers all by himself for 33 years. So what it tells us is, if you stick to it, you can do it.
So every year I've just enjoyed coming to build community and listen to the great music.
The performance has been fantastic. This guy's been loving it. Actually, he's eager to get back to it. He's enjoying the music and enjoying dancing to the music.
Los Angeles native, and I cherish the multicultural traditions of Los Angeles.
The celebration didn't end with the Drum Festival. The free event continued the following day with the 39th annual Simon Rodiah Watts Towers Jazz Festival. From the Watts Towers, this is Rich Samuels for LA This Week.
Both festivals were presented by the Department of Cultural Affairs and the Friends of the Watts Towers Art Center. Well, with the gift-giving season here, LA Animal Services is encouraging people to adopt a pet. And at One Valley Shelter, choosing the right animal just got easier. Gil Reyes explains.
In the past, the big decision to adopt from a shelter could only be made from behind a glass or cage. But at East Valley Animal Shelter, you can make the choice in a living room setting. New yellow couches where you and your potential pet can really meet.
Some people want a cat that's all over you, that's on your lap, that's on your shoulder, that's rubbing on your face. Some people want a cat that keeps their distance. So this way you can actually go in, sit for a while, relax, and find out exactly who the cat is.
How did it all happen? Well, basically, the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council put it all together. They had extra money in their discretionary funds and used it to purchase $5,000 worth of furniture. And now people can take their time while they consider adopting a pet.
At the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the two newly renovated rooms, Area Councilman David Rue praised the residents of Sherman Oaks.
Government can't do everything on our own, and this is where we have collaborations and relationships with the local community, and the local community stepping up, getting involved in your government.
With the holiday gift-giving season here, East Valley Shelter in Van Nuys is offering specials. Cats 4 months or older are free. Dogs are half price on weekends only.
You know, everybody loves puppies. What's not to love? They're adorable. But think of adopting a dog that's a little older, 2, 3, 4 years old. They're already past the, eating the chew stage. They're trained. They're calmer. And they make a great pet.
And if you don't believe us, meet a few of them in person and be sure to feel right at home. At East Valley Animal Shelter, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The city is also offering $30 vouchers for spaying or neutering. Pets of low-income residents can get the procedure done at no charge. While Marina Del Rey puts on a colorful display of holiday lights, and 2 different shopping extravaganzas showcase both handmade and vintage items. All this in this week's Things to Do. On Saturday, December 12th, feel as though you've escaped to a small-town fishing village with the 52nd anniversary of the Marina Del Rey Boat Parade. Bring a blanket and gather around Fisherman's Village or the Burton Chase Park to watch as the 70 boats glide through the marina with holiday lights and decorations in competition. Categories include Best Theme, Best Animation, Best Band, Best Lights, and more. The festivities begin at 5:55 p.m. with fireworks, and the boat parade starts at 6, rain or shine. The Fisherman's Village is located at 13737 Fiji Way. For more, visit mdrboatparade.org. Reserve the second weekend in December for the Echo Park Craft Fair, hosted by the 5,000-square-foot Max Sennett Studios. The event welcomes artsy Eastsiders for a holiday feast of hand-dyed clothing and delicately concocted bath oils, one-of-a-kind ceramics, weavings, jewelry, and beyond. Founded by a shoe designer and a textile artist, the biannual extravaganza has grown from a backyard hangout to an artisan's haven, providing a number of local craftspeople a space to showcase their handmade gems. The fair takes place on December 12th and 13th at the Max Sennett Studios, located at 1215 Bates Avenue in Silver Lake. For more, visit echoparkcraftfair.com. From handmade goodies to vintage gems, in 4 short years, A Current Affair has established itself as the premier West Coast shopping event and is known for a curated, relevant selection of vintage from all eras. Currently held 3 times yearly in downtown LA in the penthouse of the Cooper Design Space, A Current Affair brings together more than 50 of the best vintage retailers and private dealers, showcasing the best in vintage clothing, accessories, and jewelry. Check it out on December 12th and 13th. The Cooper Building is located at 860 South Los Angeles Street. For more, visit itsacurrentaffair.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. Get fire adapted now. Learn simple steps at fireadapted.org.
disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today.
Hi, I'm Nina. This is my daughter Miranda, and we live in Silver Lake. We love the cultural diversity of Los Angeles. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
sergeants, call the members. Want to thank Mr. Blumenfield, Harris Dawson, Weezer. Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 8th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council meeting. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. The public is very welcome. Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Could you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonnet, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Carrasco, Corey, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Weston. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Martinez moves, O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Committed to resolutions for approval.
Bonnet moves, Buscaino seconds. Next.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday, and now be the time for the flag salute.
Okay, why don't we all rise? We'll be led today by Mr. Paul Koretz in our salute of the flag.
Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, Paul. Hey, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz. Madam Clerk, continue.
Item 1 is an item notice for public hearing. There's a request to continue items 1E, G, and J to January 12th.
Okay, so without objection, that will be the order.
And there are cards on the remaining items.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Bonnet.
Could we continue items C through F until January 20th?
Without objection.
Thank you.
So that brings us where? To items 2 through 11?
Yes, items 2 through 11 are items which public hearings have been held.
Can we hold item 4? Okay, members, specials. I don't see any. Let's prepare to Mr. Buscaino.
Item 6, please.
Item 6.
That's a Kugu, right? Yes, item 6, please.
Okay, now let's prepare to vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes. And item 3, the ordinance will be held over 1 week unless reconsidered with 12 members.
Thank you. Okay, let's continue.
Items 12 through 16 are items which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before us. Do you have cards?
Yes, cards on items 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Okay, let's hold those items. And if there are no specials, let's vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Okay, what we'll do, we'll just do a few items quickly. Let's start with item 12. Mr. Walsh on item 12.
Should be 2 minutes. John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. And this is number 12. Again, this is Rent Escrow Account Program. You can be assured they do a good job, an excellent job here, the city. If you have, these are properties on Holt Avenue, 81st Street, 94th Street, East 51st Street, North Ardmore, although they very seldom, if your landlord is in west of La Brea, they don't enforce the code. But what happened here is the landlord refused to fix the out-of-code violations in the unit. The renters went to the city, and guess what? The landlord doesn't get the rent until he fixes the apartment. They never tell you that. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote. Members, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, let's now move to item number 4. There are no cards, it's my understanding, on item number 4. There are no members on the queue. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
And Mr. President, the ordinance will be held over till January 12th, 2016.
Okay.
Mr. President, at this time, do you wish to reconsider ordinance for item number 3?
We are at 12, so why don't we vote on reconsideration at this time? Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Now let's actually vote on the item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Let's move on. Mr. Walsh, we're taking up item 14. Item 14.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. This is from the General Manager of Housing and Community Investment Department, extending term of the housing opportunities for persons with HIV, AIDS, permanent supportive housing contract with the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles. We're, of course, 100% in favor of this. I'm not one of those old white guys who says, oh, you're all a bunch of crooks. Take a look at my website. You were very slow in combating AIDS, but eventually Michael Weinstein of AIDS Healthcare forced you to. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Mr. Walsh, don't go far. We're item 13. Mr. Walsh and Ms. Pearman. Donna Pearman, item 13.
John Walsh, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This relative to a child safety program grant award, $472,000. In fact, we have the worst record for children being injured in automobile accidents, percentage-wise, in the entire United States. So, and none of this money is going to what the money should be going to. That is protecting children from drunk drivers, and the only way you can do that is put a cap on the liquor licenses, because the drunk drivers are going to kill children, and the blood are on all 30 of your hands. For shame, scumbags.
Ms. Pearman?
Okay. It seems like you're not doing anything to really protect kids. You're just doing it to, all this money is going to paying people, and it's hard to know whether they're going to really do anything to take care of children. Like he said, most of them die from drunk drivers. We got $167,540 for salaries, general. $10,100, that's a lot of overtime, general. $2,500 travel, I don't know why they don't pay for their own travel. Contractual services, $9,685. Office and administration, that doesn't help kids. $148,100 for clerical, I guess, and $15,000 for it's $352,925. It seems like there should be a better way to really pay for this without having to spend so much money. I'm only going to spend a minute, so I don't think you know what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Let's move to reconsider item 14. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Mr. Cedillo?
13 ayes.
For items 14 and 15, I move to adopt the CAO reports that have been circulated.
Okay, then we will take up item 15. If I could get Ms. Donna Pearman. Donna. And she'll pass Mr. Walsh. Item 15.
John Walsh is always at Hollywood Dems, twittering. This is amending contract. Anytime I see amending contracts, it means that the contract, those who are getting paid, the contractor wants something changed. It's never you that want something changed, so they can make more money and do less work. Well, it's a teeny weeny amendment. It's only, that's $1,088,000. Then that's for B. A is $203,000, and rebuilding together Greater Los Angeles, $202,000. Like that, no discussion. No one gives a god darn about what's going on here. And remember, take a look outside at your sidewalk. Means, and this is almost $2 million. Shot to hell. Scumbags.
All right, let's prepare to vote on items 14 and 15. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Mr. Buscaino, are you ready with item 6?
No, sir, not.
Okay. And let's go to item 1. Mr. Walsh, Ms. Pearman, item 1. Please come down. Item 1.
John Walsh, blogging at jwalshconfidential.com. This is, again, these hearing protest appeals or objections to building safety, liens for nuisances abatement costs. This is a good project. You have a lot of nuisance abatement here. I always tell the landlords, if you come here and present a case, because they're always asking for more than they're entitled to, you'll be brought over to the side. Your lien will be, half of it will be forgiven if you have a lien, and you'll be told you can come back in 2 weeks. No one ever comes back because they're happy with what you do. Again, if you do a good job, I'm the first to say you did a good job. When you do a bad job, I'm the first to say you're a bunch of scumbags.
Ms. Pearman?
I disagree with him that these are a good job. I think these liens are bad. All these liens ending up to $21,000. Yet small compared to expensive projects like the Westfield project City Council wants. Let's be fair to these people, and if you really do cut them down, that's great. And no late fees. Help them pay these back and small payments. And indeed, if it's a fair lien. Right now, what they do, the liens, it seems like they just want to make a way to get revenue. And that's not right to make these where there's a small maybe a small problem, and then they add more fees and more fees and more fees. I've seen the people come up here, and it doesn't seem like a fair item to me. So let's get these paid in a fair and equitable manner, and let's be fair and not bad. Thank you.
All right, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Mr. Cedillo, are you ready for your presentation, sir?
That we do.
Join me and have your family join me. Madam President, so this is one of these occasions that I'm happy to do for a friend, but not happy to do. And I say that because we're here to talk about a man who is going to enter retirement, a concept I have yet to fully understand, particularly when it comes from people like Gary, who come from the labor movement, people who have spent their lives both as practitioners of their trade and then as leaders of their local unions, of their regional unions, of their national unions. Gary Cook is one of those men. He and I are about the same age. It's really why I don't understand why he's retiring. You know, he came right out of high school and joined the Plumbers Union. He was here from the kind of, what do you call it, San Gabriel Valley? Yes. Yeah, San Gabriel Valley. He completed his apprenticeship in 1976, and for 26 years, he taught plumbing and related subjects to people to join the union. In 2000, he became the business agent for the plumbers, and in 2005, with the passing of his mentor and friend and business manager and important union leader of Los Angeles, John Hall, he was appointed business manager, and he was elected 3 times for that. Gary's been a stalwart since he's been here. He's a friend. He's an advocate and a very competent spokesperson for his constituency, the trades, plumbers. He's been involved in building many of the important buildings in this region. But most of all, let me say this, is that he is a real gentle man. And I spent 15 years, Mr. Weston will recall when we met, Paul Koretz will recall my time period in the labor movement. It's rare to find a real gentle man in the labor movement, one who demonstrates that you don't have to be ruckus or rude or outrageous to be a leader in the labor movement, that you can be thoughtful, you can be considerate, and that you can be gentle. And as a product of that demeanor, you can be most effective. And so with that, Gary, and I say this with great sincerity, you are really a rare individual. I spent my growing years in the labor movement. I know that culture, I know that community, and I know that you will sorely be missed, both in the labor movement and by those of us here at City Hall who look to your leadership, to your insight, and to your advocacy for the working men and women of this city, both in the city government and throughout the entire city. So thank you for your service. It's been a real honor Gary.
Thank you very much.
No, it's a real honor. You're a real gentleman. He brings a southern gentleness about him. Gary, please.
Well, I want to thank you for letting me speak in front of you. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. You've been admirable, people of your word, and moving this great city forward and working with organized labor. I want to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart.
Okay.
Mr. Cedillo, we have a member on the queue, sir.
Yes, please.
Mr. Koretz.
Mr. Kretz.
Thank you. Well, I just want to congratulate you on an amazing career, Gary. And I'm not sure I'd exactly agree with Mr. Cedillo's characterization. Not always so gentle, but always with the right motivation, trying to get good jobs, good union jobs for the people that you represent. And once or twice we've even disagreed just a little bit, but only on how to get to the same goal. And I appreciate your feistiness and consistent good work on behalf of your members and your great work on behalf of the labor movement. So, like Mr. Cedillo, I'm sorry that you're retiring, but I'm happy to recognize a wonderful career. So.
Don't forget, I did say he was effective.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz.
Yes,
Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, colleagues. I'm rising to urge a no vote on this. I just want to thank you. I mean, I'm really bummed about this. When I walked in and I found out you were retiring, I was not a happy camper. I just want to thank you. You've been a great leader and a great advocate and a great friend, and I wish you really well and your family well in your retirement.
Mr. Blumenfield.
I just want to, Gary, I just wanted to chime in. It's been such a pleasure working with you many years. Before I was ever in the council, the legislature, we've worked on a lot of projects together, and you've always been straightforward, strategic. You know how to get things done. It's just been, I mean, if everyone were like you, the city would be, running 100%, 110%. Now we're, 90%. We're getting there. But you've just been a great friend and an ally, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Gary. Congratulations.
Thank you. Mr. Cedillo.
Yes, well, as always, as I said, a pleasure to acknowledge a great career and want to present this resolution. And who's going to join us up here?
Congratulations, Gary. Let's give him a big round of applause. Mr. Buscaino, are you ready for item 6?
Can you go to public comment, ma'am?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Madam Clerk, let's move on to public comment. Donna Pierman, are you here? This is public comment, Donna. Good morning.
Happy Hanukkah to everyone, especially Eric Garcetti. These times are especially, these times tell me that how important it is to support Israel, a place for Jews to have as a haven. Jews be ready to go back to Israel anytime, to make Aliyah any day now. Candidates who choose for president should know that our biggest friend in the Middle East is Israel. The candidate for president should support Israel 100%, no conditions, no asking more concessions. Like us, they have problems. They must sort it out themselves. Never give up Jews. Never give up Jerusalem. We need to be placed. It's important for the Jews and Christians, and be ready. You may be a place for Jews to return to. We have to worry about Islamic terrorists who believe in Medina Quran and Sharia law. and would love to bring Sharia law here, destroy our lives as we know it, and especially terrorize women, do genital mutilations. Anyway.
Thank you, Donna. The next speaker is Irene Cruz.
Good morning, council members. My name is Irene Cruz. I'm commander of the American Legion's Los Angeles County Council. I'm also the adjutant of the newly revitalized Los Angeles Women's Post, which we will currently be housed on LA Trade Tech's campus. And for 2015, I was named the first woman Los Angeles County Veteran of the Year. I'm here to introduce our post today, which is the Los Angeles Women's Post for the American Legion, and I would like to make introduction to each one of you. If you can connect me to your deputy that deals with veterans issues in your district, I would greatly appreciate that as we are trying to establish ourselves on the campus of LA Trade Tech, as well as in the community to assist veterans in their needs.
Thank you very much for being here. Next speaker, Marcus Musante. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
You did, thank you. Good morning. Marcus Musanti on behalf of San Pedro. I wanted to alert City Council members about the waterfront issue. I don't know if you've received certain proposals yet, but you will. And I want you to consider that San Pedro used to be its own city. It's now a neighborhood, and it's being kept down. There's a politics of poverty going on. It's the only place I've ever seen where the closer you get to the water, the property value goes down. You should ask yourself why that is. There is a deal being made now that is going to circumvent a deal that was made years ago. There was an expansive project proposed and was agreed upon, and now it's been reduced 50%. I remind you that the waterfront belongs to the people, not to the mayor, not to you, not to the councilman. It needs to benefit the entire city, but of course the people of Pedro, and if you allow it to go forth, you are taking away from the people of San Pedro. Thank you.
Next speaker, Lanny Senka.
Good morning. My name is Lanny Setka. I'm a board member of the Los Angeles Waterfront Access and Redevelopment Coalition. I'm here to voice my opposition to what has become the continued piecemeal failure of waterfront development in the Los Angeles harbor. We have spent taxpayer money, hundreds of millions of dollars, on things that are not even being used. We have a fountain that is a multi-million-dollar fountain designed by someone from the Bellagio, and there's probably more people have taken a bath in the fountain as opposed to those who have come to visit and enjoy the waterfront show. This project that has been presented has been scaled down significantly, and it is not right that this move forward without a public presentation. And I'd like to ask the councilman for his stance on whether or not he agrees with moving forward with the project without a public presentation. Thank you.
Next speaker is Robert Janest.
Good morning, I'm Robert Janest. I'm a board member of the Los Angeles Waterfront Access and Redevelopment Coalition. We in the public believe it's time for the mayor to honor his campaign promise of a world-class waterfront for the city of LA. We have deep concerns about the waterfront's future and its current direction. First, we believe the ports of call and downsizing it will seal its fate. Its drawing power will become so anemic that there will be no meaningful phase 2, 3, 4, or beyond. The feasibility study is what pointed us in this direction. The study, commissioned by the port, basically said you're too ambitious, think smaller. There are only 330,000 people within a 15-minute drive of ports of call. We're asking the mayor to consider a compelling fact. The entire city of Anaheim today has a population of only 340,000. So where did all the visitors to the Magic Kingdom come from? 22 million people last year. They did not come from a 15-minute drive from Disneyland.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next speaker is John Papadakis. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
As long as you say Smith, I'll answer. Don't worry.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Good morning.
This is Democratia, Joe. I'm the founder of the Bridge to the Breakwater Plan for the city of Los Angeles. Did you ever ask yourself how the wealthiest port in the Western Hemisphere is housed within the poorest seaside in this country? Look up and down the West Coast and you'll see citizens benefiting from their seaside, the full seaside, by the principles of public access and highest and best use. Those principles we are denied as citizens of this city. You all have right to access to that great harbor, but you're denied it because of the myopic devotion to heavy industry and the cargo industry and the backing of council members here who will not obey the principles of the Bridge to the Breakwater Plan established by Mayor Reardon and James Hahn here 15 years ago. I hurt for the people of my area. My family's been there 110 years. We deserve the seaside prosperity that all seaside dwellers and citizens have throughout this country and world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is John Walsh. Good morning, Mr. Walsh.
Good morning, John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. As you notice, Mitch Englander hasn't been here for a week. He gets fully paid. He's running. He's collecting money. That's what he's doing. He's running for office. Okay, number one target in the city of Los Angeles, and I want the world will hear me say this if what happens, happens. It is the subway. They just hit the sub-underground in London. They're going to hit it now. Why? Because the mayor of the city of Los Angeles has invited every transient in this city to sleep in the subway and to recharge their stolen iPhones. Sometimes at Hollywood Vine, I see 15 or 20 people in there. And if anyone is killed, the blood is on your hands because you don't give a good goddamn about anything. Not counting the chair lady, the rest of you are scumbags.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Next speaker, Antonio Ramirez.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a gang and wetback epidemic. No denying it now. We need El Jefe, Donald Trump, to curb and combat the crimes across America, including the number one crime epidemic area is LA. Having said that, let me recap on Chinatown Walmart. Chinatown Walmart, located 701 West Caesar East Chavez Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90012. On November 28, 2015, I went to Walmart in the evening to shop. I end up being harassed by the gangbangers because Walmart hires gangbanging security. Chango shit. You know, the gangbangers, the ones that stalk and harass the law-abiding citizens because they run with a criminal ring of gangbangers and gang stalkers. So I end up taking a picture of one of them, and it turns out to be the gangbanger. Oh, for crying out loud. This is a security guard. Officers came out, Durazo and Martin, and they helped me out. God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Thank you. That concludes public comment. Mr. Buscaino, are you ready for item 6?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Clean Up, Green Up. Mr. Huizar has been leading this effort for how long now? 4 or 5 years? 4 years. We've come today. Thank you so much, sir, for your guidance and leadership. To you and your team as well, working collectively with the business community and, of course, our advocates, those who want to improve our environment throughout the city of Los Angeles, from the Valley to San Pedro to East Los Angeles. You've been a champion for us, Jose. Thank you so much. Very pleased about the progress being made on the Clean Up, Green Up ordinance before us today. For years, community like the one I represent, Wilmington, have suffered adverse impacts of incompatible land use regulations that place heavy industrial operations in close proximity to residential neighborhoods. Now, this item before us will begin to correct all those conflicts. And as a former LAPD senior lead officer, I know firsthand that putting a good idea on paper is only a small part of the battle. And it's actually the enforcement that's going to make an ordinance like this going to work. So let's make that good idea a reality. I want to bring up the Department of Building and Safety. For me, in order to support this ordinance before us, I want to ensure that we have adequate enforcement in place. Do we have a representative from Building and Safety come forward? Thank you. I do know that the department has had the funding and resources to ensure that this ordinance before us will be enforced. I believe we've, since the recession, the department has brought in 29 new hires. Can you please provide us an update, an overview of the funding and staffing needs for this ordinance to ensure that's an effective ordinance before us and make sure that we have effective enforcement moving forward?
Good morning. My name is Dominic Barbato, and I work for the Department of Building and Safety. As far as the enforcement of the filters, MERV 13, we do not need any more any more stuff that we have. If this ordinance includes other things, then I'm not prepared to answer.
How many authorized positions in your department remain unfilled today?
No, I don't know.
Good morning, council members. My name is John Beesens. I'm with the Code Enforcement Bureau. So there's a couple components to enforcement, and one is the MERV filters that was just explained. Another component is the complaints regarding these uses in these properties. So if there are complaints that come to Building and Safety for enforcement, we will be handling those. And the staffing process is going well. We're working with personnel as we speak. There's some testing going on for the inspectors required to do the enforcement. And when that testing process is over and a list is created to hire from, we will conduct interviews, and then we'll be able to hire staff at that point.
Again, clarification, the ordinance is not before us. We're actually directing the report to come back. The ordinance for the action today is asking the department to come back with the draft ordinance. For me, I just want to ensure that when it comes back to us, we have the numbers and also the bodies in place, because again, we can support and move forward on all the ordinances we want, but without enforcement, then those ordinances will not be effective moving forward. So I appreciate the work that's being done here, and ask for your support moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Weezer?
Thank you, Mr. Buscaino, for clarifying that, and also for your support of this. And this has been an ongoing effort for over 4 years. And it's an innovative way to move forward on how do we continue to clean up some neighborhoods that have long been areas that have been burdened by the use of unregulated, at times, industrial uses and incompatible uses with the local residential areas. As our city developed and a lot of industry sprouted up and residents either moved in or the other way around, there were residential areas and industry moved in, we didn't really, at the time, think about what the impacts were to the people living and working in those areas. But thankfully now, as we are more cognizant and more aware of the detrimental impacts that pollution and other related contaminants from industrial uses cause to the local population, we're doing more to tackle that. And this is innovative in the sense that we are using our land use tools and our ability to more forcefully enforce things that are already in the books that will allow us to incentivize some of the local businesses to clean up and green up, hence the name. So I want to thank the advocates who have been supporting this. I remember we had a huge rally at Breed Street Elementary School in Boyle Heights when we kicked this off. At that time, we kicked it off with now Congressmember Cardenas, Congresswoman Janice Hahn, And now with the leadership of other elected representatives who represent that area, Council Members Buscaino, Fuentes, and Martinez, these pilot areas, I think, will teach us a lot about what we can do in the rest of the city. For example, the use of upgrading to ensure that new developments near freeways are equipped to filter out deadly air pollution is something that should not only be in these pilot areas, but perhaps all the information and knowledge that we use from this, we can continue to apply that throughout the city. This is not only innovative in its approach, but we're going to learn a lot from it and have some applicability throughout the rest of the city. So I want to thank everyone who spent 4 years on this to move it forward. A lot of back and forth. I know the business community gave us a lot of great input. The CPC adjusted it to take into account some of the business community needs. But as we roll this out and hire the ombudsperson and work better with, refine this, I think it's going to be a great innovative project, not only for the rest of the city, but for the rest of the country. So thank you all for your hard work on this. This is something that the city of LA could truly be proud of. So thank you so much. I urge an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weezer. There are no more speakers on the queue. I want to also congratulate Mr. Weezer. When we came to you well over 4 years ago, you took this initiative, made it your own, and had gotten it this far. So thank you. These three communities have been the dumping ground for land uses in this city, and it's about time we try to fix and mitigate, not only for the businesses there, but for the communities that have to coexist. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. I call for the question as well, so let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Item passes. Thank you. Madam Clerk, what's before us?
Council has motions for posted and referral.
Posted and referred.
That clears the desk.
Members, any announcements? Seeing none, can we all please rise for adjourning motions? Any adjourning motions to my right? Any adjourning, Mr. Englander?
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, our beloved George, an engineer, golfer, father, friend, philosopher, died peacefully on Saturday morning. In Los Angeles, he was 93 years old. George was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, to Constantine and Georgia Giannaracos, and spent his early years in Greece and on the east side of Bridgeport. During the 1930s, he played quarterback at Warren Harding High School and danced the Lindy Hop at the Pleasure Beach Ballroom. George served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, received his Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from the University of Bridgeport, and after graduation, George worked for close to 30 years at Bryant Electric. George was a life member of the Sterling Ski Club, which he joined in 1939, and often told how lucky he was to meet the love of his life, Jean, on the slopes. Jean and George became parents to Catherine and continued to travel, ski, and support their community in Bridgeport. George was an avid golfer. He played at the Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course for more than 50 years, where he twice hit a hole-in-one. In 2014, George moved to Los Angeles to be closer to his daughter, Catherine, where he enjoyed great pastrami sandwiches and wearing shorts all year round. George is survived by his daughter, Catherine, her partner, Adam Englander, his nieces and nephews, Georgia, John, William, Richard, their children and grandchildren, and many cousins. He will be missed by his honorary grandkids, Maya, Arroyo, Theo, and Violet, along with the Englander and the Black families, and countless friends and admirers in California and in Connecticut. Please remember, quote, stroke the ball, don't hit it, don't hit the ball. That's what he used to always say. George was over on Thanksgiving at my house, and I remember Catherine calling and Adam saying, "We've been in your garage. You need to clear a space in your garage so we can wheel him in through the garage in this wheelchair." So we were out there clearing a space, and If you know what a pack rat my wife is, you'll know what that means. And he is the life of the party. And it's always just looked forward to family gatherings when George would come over. And remember sitting around a few years ago before he moved here to Los Angeles and all of us talking about it. And he told Catherine and Adam that while he loves them dearly, he wants to move out here to be closer to Jane. He'll be missed greatly, and holiday gatherings will never be the same without George. May he rest in peace. Love you, George. Thank you.
Are there adjourning motions? Mr. Blumenfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like us to adjourn in the memory of Teresa Suskin, who died on November 29th at the age of 94. I didn't know her, but like many of you, I know her daughter, Amanda Suskin, very well. Amanda is not only a longtime good friend, we've worked together for many years. She is the executive director of the Anti-Defamation League. And I worked with her when I was on the board of the league and chaired the Valley Board. Her mother was an amazing woman, as I've learned from Amanda. She was known as Terry, was born in Watford, England, raised and educated in London, and while studying chemistry at Chelsea College of Science and Technology, she joined the Women's Royal Naval Service in 1943 and was recruited to be part of a secret and talented group of women who worked in what's called the Bletchley Park. They worked in Bletchley Park with Alan Turing on the Enigma project. This is the project that was credited for cracking the German code and became the subject of a recent movie called The Imitation Game. So she's gained fame that way. But during the war, she met Charles Susskind, who escaped from Prague on the Kindertransport and later joined the U.S. Armed Forces in London as a stateless refugee. They were married in 1945. After the war, the couple emigrated to the United States. Charles completed his BS at Caltech and a PhD at Yale, and Terry took courses at Yale and became a professional librarian. The couple then returned to California, and Charles joined the faculty at UC Berkeley and taught for nearly 5 decades. And together they owned and ran a San Francisco Press, a small publishing company that specialized in science, technology, and music. And they were vibrant members of the Bay Area music community and loyal subscribers to the San Francisco Symphony and the San Francisco Opera. Terry was an activist for getting musical programs into public schools, and in 1964 she became a member of the National Board of Young Audiences. She served as a board of the Young People's Symphony Orchestra in Berkeley and was chair of the project for sending 90 young musicians to Scotland to participate in an international festival of youth orchestras. She became an active volunteer for the San Francisco Symphony and served on its board of governors from 1985 to 1989. She was a dedicated member of the Town and Gown Club, where she served as president from 1984 to 1985, and its historian for many years after that. Her husband Charles passed away in 2002, but she remained involved in the community, a devoted mother and friend, a force of nature for another 13 years. She is survived by her children, Pamela Pedler, Peter Susskind, and of course Amanda Susskind, and by grandchildren Andrew Susskind, Michael Pedler, and her much adored great-grandson Duncan Sebastian. Amanda, the city mourns with you. May your mother rest in peace. Thank you. Absolutely.
Mr. Wu would like to join in that adjournment as well. Okay. Any other adjourning motions? Mr. Koretz as well. Any other adjourning motions? Seeing none, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.